It is time for Jeff Koinange Live. It is going to be an explosive show today and engaging as well, because we've got two young Kenyans from very different backgrounds, but with one common view and perspective and vision. It's about the Kenya they want, the Kenya we want. So let's engage them, if we will. My Twitter handle at Koinange Jeff, hashtag JKL, SMS line 22155. First up, he started taking photos, and one thing led to another, and before you knew it, he was an award-winning photojournalist. His pictures have appeared everywhere, from the New York Times to the LA Times, Chicago Tribune to an International Herald Tribune. This man has taken pictures that have literally moved the world. In fact, he got a very encouraging quote from none other than Hillary Clinton. Once in a while, he puts down his camera and the lens turns to him when he becomes an activist, especially when he leads a group of young Kenyans in the Occupy Parliament sessions, claiming what he calls MPigs are being overpaid. We'll talk about that. And more recently, heckling none other than the President of the Republic at a Labor Day function. He was accompanied that day by the Secretary General of KOTU, and his goons literally lifted him and carried him off. This man has vowed to be activist number one. He's not going to stop doing that until he fights for what he calls the young people's rights. Boniface, the award-winning photographer, Mwangi. Niaje. Itakuwaje?
Shakua.
Niko rada?
Uko poa?
No.
Umeongeza weight.
Bonnie, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
The Kenya we want.
Yes.
First of all, let's talk about the latest thing that's really going to come to haunt us.
Yeah.
Us as journalists.
Yes.
Inspector General of Police Kimayo says anyone showing pictures of CCTV Westgate of the KDF looting will be arrested.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Kimayo is extremely wrong. I think it's taking Kenya back to the dark days of Moi era, and we fought for this freedom for far too long to go back to those days. If you look at Kimayo, he has done actually two things. There's that particular about targeting journalists, which is very, very wrong, and I thought that the whole media community is going to rise up against that because it's very wrong. The second thing is about Nyumba Kumi. He's actually encouraging people to spy on their neighbors.
Yeah.
So he's telling us that the police can't do their work, let's spy on our neighbors, which is another wrong thing. So if you look at what Kimayo is doing, it's like going back to Stalin Russia, communism, where the government fails to protect you, and now you become your brother's keeper or your neighbor's keeper in a way that is actually snooping on your neighbor.
Tell me something, buddy. Don't these people have a PR machine? Do they realize what they say?
Kimayo is reckless in his words. When Westgate was going on, he said, we didn't come here to feed them croissants. And actually they ended up eating the croissants themselves.
We saw it on CCTV.
So you look at what KDF did at Westgate, and what John Allan Namu and Muhammad Ali did was commendable. They were highlighting what the problem was. There was looting by KDF. They didn't do that because they hate Kenya. Muhammad Ali and John Allan Namu did that because they love Kenya. And because we love them and we love this country, they're exposing the rot in the KDF so that the rot can be corrected.
Correct.
And the people who are involved in the looting can be arrested and be charged. The looters should be arrested because they were stealing.
And why can't these folks, KDF, the IG's folks, why can't they all admit this and we move on?
They're in denial. But Ruto said they stole.
He did?
Karangi says, yes, he did.
He did on CNN?
On CNN, he said they stole.
Yeah.
And Karangi says they took water. That's stealing. They went to a supermarket and they stole water. I think they stole more than water. And now, let me tell you what happens actually. It makes the president look very bad. Because if he does not admit those people looted and people are not arrested or court-martialed, that makes the president the commander in thief. I'm serious. Because he's commanding looters.
Commander in?
Thief.
Okay.
It's important. It's important that the IG focuses on the criminals at Westgate. There was no civilian on that building. They stole, and they bungle up the whole operation. It makes Kenya look very bad.
And our faith in the police, our faith in the military has gone rock bottom.
Yeah, but it's not the first time they're doing it. They did it in Garissa, Wagala massacre, they're doing it in Somalia. If they can do even Mount Elgon, that's the same thing they did.
And I'm sure Ikuru Aukot will come and tell us about Baragoi and Moyale.
So they had a chance to prove themselves to be professionals. But what they did in Westgate shows clearly what they're doing in Somalia right now. They're raping those women and they're looting that country in the name of fighting Al-Shabaab. So the KDF, if they do not arrest the crooks in the KDF, they're making Kenya look bad and they're going to be hit again because of their actions.
Absolutely. Bonnie, let's go back to your Occupy Parliament scenarios, if you will.
Yes.
What made you become an activist? Because your pictures, and we've seen your pictures, fantastic post-election pictures, literally moved the world. I mean, those ones, they woke up a nation.
Yeah.
And all the other pictures that you've done. And then you go into activism. Why?
Frustrations. We elect leaders, they get into power, they forget about why they were elected in the first place. And that's the reason why we're telling young people we need to speak up. I think it's the responsibility of all citizens to speak up. So I'm playing my role because I can't be silent when bad things happen. I believe we're on the right side of history. What you're doing right now is important for this country.
You think you're moving the masses, Bonnie? Because sometimes you, like the Koti thing, the Uhuru Park, you stood up and you had your guys with you.
Yes.
They didn't stand up with you.
But they came to my rescue and I was being beaten up.
A little too late?
I think so. But we're standing up slowly. If you look at the first Occupy Parliament and the second one, we had more numbers on the second one. And then you're going to have Occupy Kenya very soon. And all of them are going to come. I think change comes slowly. We're building up the confidence. Kenyans are very resilient people. And that's actually our weakness. Because we adjust too soon. When things get tough, we adjust. We need to stop adjusting. This country has more than enough police officers. But you know where they are? They're guarding the president, the senators, the members of parliament, their mistresses, their rural home. They're all over, but they're not guarding the people who pay taxes in this country, the Kenyans who ensure that the president has a salary, the senators have salary, and the members of parliament. The people who work long hours in this country are not protected. Do you know what? You can't take a photo outside State House, but people are getting mugged outside State House. They're getting mugged by thugs in motorbikes. Boda-bodas.
Yeah.
And you can't even take a picture. We live in a country where we are all insecure. And the Kenyan middle class, you know how they respond to that problem? They put barbed wires, they hire more watchmen.
And they tweet about it.
Yes, they're applying a private solution to a public problem, which is insecurity. Let me tell you, if this country wants to be safe, withdraw all the bodyguards from members of parliament. Let them guard everyone. And the day they start feeling the insecurity, they're going to start worrying about how much a cop is paid, how they live, medical cover. They'll get concerned. But for now, as long as you protect the elite and you make them feel special, this country can't move forward. Because the masses are just adjusting. And that's a problem.
The folks you were protesting against down below, Parliament is just literally down below us.
Yes.
Why do you call them M-pigs?
Because they're as greedy as pigs. Simple. You know, a pig just eats and eats and eats and eats. And sadly, inaenda kichinjio. That's the end result for a pig. And eventually these people, these members of parliament, who are not even connected to the people of Kenya, eventually that's what they're going to end up to.
These are the folks you voted for, Bonnie?
The people that I voted for are not elected, man. My candidates actually are not elected. But on the other hand, they were elected to serve everyone. The people who voted for them and the people who didn't vote for them. And they need to understand that. But they don't. Our members of parliament don't get it. The same thing with our president. He's a rich man kid. His father came out of jail, grabbed, stole, acquired so much money. Now he's a rich man. The mother is one of the richest people in this country, Mama Ngina. And even in Africa, how did Mama Ngina get that money? She didn't work. It was acquired.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Tell her where she worked. Mama Ngina, where did Mama Ngina work? She's a billionaire.
She's a businesswoman.
How did she get the billions? Source of wealth. When Kenyatta left prison, there was a fundraising to build him a house. So he didn't have money. But let bygone be bygone. Why can't the president develop a backbone and do his work? He doesn't crack the whip. Kenya turns 50 in December. This country, you have jailed less than 50 criminals who are rich crooks. You steal a chicken or a cow, you get shot, or you go and have sex with a cow, you get jailed for 7 years. You steal billions, you elect to parliament. That's so wrong. Imagine Patni, Commission of Inquiry was formed. Where is he now? His brother Paul. He's preaching. Maina Jenga had means of killings in this country. Where is he? He's a pastor. He has a church. My question is to you, Jeff.
Yeah.
My question: for how long are we going to be patient as people take advantage of us?
But Bonnie, whose fault is that?
The Kenyan people.
Uh-huh.
And I do admit, but this is the moment to start asking hard questions as Kenya turns 50. And let me ask you, if we allow these things, very good, let's say bygone be bygone. Kenyatta father stole, that's Jomo Kenyatta. The son is in power right now. Maybe they've stolen enough. Moving forward, why can't he just do his work? Say, from today, there's amnesty, perhaps. Moving forward, let's follow the rule of law. They're not doing that. There's no goodwill from this government to ensure that there's no new scandal. 6 months in power, one trouble after another problem. When shall this country stop bleeding?
You talk about 6 months in power, Bonnie, and we have to mention the ICC at this point.
Yeah.
Should the man go?
He should go. Uhuru should go and prove his innocence. The more he avoids the ICC, the more we think he's guilty. Go there, beat the charge, come back. He'll actually get legitimacy. For now, the more he avoids the ICC, we start asking questions. Is he guilty? Did he do it? If the man is innocent, let him go. And let me tell you, if he goes and comes back, we can actually respect him more because he's going to be upholding the rule of law. But you cannot uphold the rule of law if you yourself defy court summons. And let me tell you, this is a Kenyan court. It's part of the court system. So let him go, prove his innocence, come back. Ruto is there. Yeah.
Bottom line, going forward, he needs to crack the whip.
He needs to develop a backbone. Two things about Uhuru. Either he wants to be a very good guy, and so let's say everyone does whatever they do, or he becomes an effective president and cracks the whip. Harry Truman used to have a thing on his desk that used to say the buck stops here. The buck stops at the president. If the president does not crack the whip on KDF, he becomes the commander-in-chief. If the president doesn't tell Kemayo, you can't threaten the media. You are going after the truth tellers. Where does he want us to go? Let me tell you. They started with civil society. Said civil society, they tapped their phones. NSIS taps people's phones. Now they're going after journalists. Now it will be every other Kenyan. We need to stop that. The president spoke about this on Mashujaa Day. Spoke about how we fought colonization. We fought colonization and fought the white man so we could have freedoms to speak when you want to speak, do what you want to do within the rule of law. And so he can't take those rights away. They're not Kenyatta's, they're not Kemayos, they're not yours. They're for all of us. And we can't be taken back to the Moi days. We have a new constitution, let's uphold the constitution. And we can't break the law saying that you're being patriotic. Let me tell you, it's the duty of patriotic Kenyans to question the president. Actually, I would work for the president.
You would?
I would. As a critic in chief. No pay, no bodyguards, no office at State House.
Are you applying for a job, Bonnie?
I know there are people who love this country. Gadara, Ori, Sani Bindra, Nanjira. There are many of us who love this country.
Yes.
Even Ekuru. We can actually work for free. Critic in chief. We tell him, this is what's wrong with this country. Work on it. Crack the whip. Let me tell you, you can even become a two-term president. All you have to do is do his job. He's the president of 42 million Kenyans. So let him not put us in fear where you think like Kidero's people. When people gather in the streets, they've been arrested. Why? Obstruction, they can't talk politics. We can't go back to Moi days. And so Uhuru Kenyatta, who says that digital government has a perfect chance. As Kenya ushers its jubilee year, we can start afresh.
Digital president, maybe Itumbi is his critic in chief.
Itumbi is not. Itumbi is a sycophant in chief.
Oh my. Okay. The Kenya we want, Bonnie, the Kenya you want. You're 30 years old, right? You're the next generation. What Kenya do you want?
I want to feel safe. We want jobs and a place where you know that if you break the law, you're going to be arrested. We have two laws in this country, for the poor and for the rich. Can you just have laws that work for everyone? That if I call 999, it's going to work. If I walk to a cop station and find a cop who is well paid. A place where everyone's, irrespective of the title, and a Fota Sharia, where when you drive, there are no people overtaking, where accidents, you know, this country is run by Red Cross. The Red Cross runs this country. And if Kenyatta cannot run this country, he should outsource to Red Cross. When there's a disaster, when there's a road accident, the first people to respond are bus bullet people. And I think you should learn from that. So we want to live in a country where systems work. If systems work, we don't have to leave this country. If systems work, we don't have to point fingers. If systems work, you know that you feel safe. We don't feel safe in our own country. You know, Jeff, a while back, 2 people sat on your bench and they died. Oscar Kingara.
That's right.
Getao. Their matters are not solved. So I don't know if I leave this bench, I'll be shot. I won't feel safe. When I know that if I speak my mind, they won't question my patriotism and they won't kill me. I want to live in that kind of a country.
Sure. And you know, when you travel to other countries like Rwanda, let's say Rwanda, and people would say, okay, it's a tiny little country, but you can walk the streets at 3 a.m. and feel safe.
And it's clean. Yeah.
Why can't we do that?
And there's Wi-Fi in the city, free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Why can't we do that? Because Kenyatta is not working, he's busy trying to beat the ICC. Beat the ICC and then work. Let me tell you, there's so much goodwill for Kenyatta to succeed. Because if he fails, the whole country fails. He needs just to work. He's irrespective of his history and the baggage. That can be understandable if things work. But now, he has ICC baggage, systems don't work, road accidents, no one is being arrested, we're not jailing anyone, Tana River happened, Baragoi, Ekuru is coming after me. But look at the killings in Moyale, Tana River. Not a single man was been sent to jail. Our Kenya police cannot investigate. They're ill-equipped. They don't even have a forensic lab. We have to rely on foreigners. Do you know why Westgate didn't really succeed? Because you had the Asian community was very organized to respond to that. But if it happened somewhere else, they wouldn't have responded.
Yeah, it would have been a worse bloodbath than it was.
It would have been worse than it was. So I think all Kenyatta needs to do is just work. Man, do your job.
Bonnie, before every election or during every election, Kenyans are so optimistic, always optimistic. We say, oh, we've elected the best guys, we've got the best parliamentarians, the best now senators and governors, we've got the best people that we can get. 3 months, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, we get disappointed every time. What do we do?
I think two things. We vote along party lines, so we don't vote for ideology. TNA is a vehicle to parliament, ODM was a vehicle to parliament. And then when they get to power, that's forgotten. So there's this guy, he's called Nguyai, who said even if it's a dog vying on a TNA ticket, it should be elected. So it doesn't matter what you represent, provided Baba Mesema, Ama Uhuru or someone, you get elected. And then you elect guys who can tell Kitenda Willy and who can sing in crusades, in rallies, mapambano, or the person with the biggest insults. So you don't get our leaders right. You know why? Kenya as a country, we lack values. We don't have a value system. What is our value? We are one is not a value. What are we? What is that thing that is Kenyan? I saw when they were unveiling the Kenya at 50.
The logo, and
there was just lion, Masai, and someone running. Is that Kenya? What is that thing that we can say it's Kenya? That's what we lack.
When we elect leaders, and I have to cite this example because he's the one who's the highest profile, he seems to reach the masses. I'm talking about Sonko. We elect leaders like Sonko. And then they turn around and they do what they do. Are those the leaders we want?
No, Sonko is not the leader that we want. What Sonko has started doing is actually, we don't know how he got his wealth. So I think someone's past is as important as what he represents. That's number one. Number two, because the government has failed to do its work. So you have a man who just gives handouts, becomes a populist and becomes a hero to the people. Because wherever he gets his money from, he distributes. And that's what Kenyans want.
So on the one hand, you're saying,
of wealth.
Wait a minute. Let me play devil's advocate here. On the one hand, you say Uhuru's family stole money, right?
They did.
And then you say Sonko, you don't know where he got his money from. That's double standards there, Bonnie.
So he's an alleged drug dealer.
Okay.
Yes.
Alleged
drug dealer. He is known to do dramatic things. He's not a role model to anyone, but he got a role model trophy. I don't know how, but because he has a what you would say FU attitude to the system, and he looks like this guy he's not good looking, looks like most of us. He's short, he wears bling blings. He's this guy. He's a man child, and so that thing attracts him to the masses. That he will be there with you and he's going to speak your language.
And he's like a Robin Hood.
He's a Robin Hood, actually. That's complimenting him. He's just a thug dressed well. But on the other hand, he gives out his money, irrespective whether he does whatever he sells, which we don't know, which people say it's drugs, but he distributes his wealth, which the Kenyatta family is just holding and buying all milk companies. And ensuring they have the monopoly because TNA promised free primary school education milk, free primary school milk. So if the Brookside buys all the other companies, and then they will have to buy milk from Brookside. So every time we buy Brookside for my kids,
do you know how Brookside started? I'm not going to defend them. You know how it started?
I don't
know. In the back of a pickup. In the back of a pickup. I'm not defending them.
You know you carry the name Koinange. There's even a street named after you. So let's not go there.
Matusi nayo.
Hakuna matusi jo. Lakini nasemaje? Wajua kama kungekuwa country ya maana, waduka soko fa kuchaguliwa. Mara ndio Sonko na bibi onyeshe besh. Uduka hizo ni aibu gani? Kama ni kiongozi, behave kama kiongozi. Si kama thug.
Okay. How about someone like Kidero? Someone we had a lot of faith in. And then that incident happens. Is that the leader we want?
He slaps a woman. And then was he charged? No. That's the country we live in. Double standards, man. Dude, if I slapped you, they would arrest me. But if Kidero slapped someone, they make it go away. They make it go away. That's Kemaio is not doing his job. He's not. Do you know I was at Westgate? The police don't even have a flashlight. They didn't have even flashlights. Akwada na katochi.
Is there hope, Bunny? Is there hope?
There is hope. And the hope in this country is the young people.
It's you guys.
My generation. It's us who took Moi home. And it's us who can redeem this country. It's us who can actually take over this country in 2017.
We have a young president. It was kind of our generation.
Yeah.
Can it work with him? He's about to be 52.
52 is not young, but if he wants to work, then he can be the change that you want. But is he willing to work? The man doesn't even keep time. As he needs to get the basics right, either hire a timekeeper, then he tells lies, or he was misled to tell lies.
Like what?
About Westgate.
Yeah.
Or 10, 15 attackers, this, that.
Yeah.
He gave us conflicting information.
That's the intel he got.
And then when he gets exposed, because Muhammad Ali and John Alam gets exposed, Kimayo started threatening the journalist because they lied to the president. They lied to the president. And guess what? Every day I thought he's going to be a hands-on man who, when things go wrong, he takes responsibility. The buck stops at the president.
Absolutely.
That means that Kimayo or whoever who bungled up the operation, forget about that. Prevention of the Westgate attack. How did those intelligence that the attack was going to happen? It wasn't prevented. Who had the information? When did they have the information? And what did they do with the information?
Bonnie, I want to talk more about this, man, because you are full of ideas and controversy, and you're throwing mud at everybody, man. It's going to stick somehow.
It's all mad, man.
What we're going to do,
yes,
you can go occupy the seat since you're good at occupying. We'll get Ikuru here, and then we'll get you back later, and we'll talk some more, and we'll get some tweets going. I'm sure Twitter is going crazy right now. All right.
Haters and fans.
Good to see you, my brother. Well done. Don't go away. Whoa! Somebody call G4S. Boniface Mwangi is on fire. That's what we're talking about. The Kenya we want. What is the Kenya you want? Twitter handle at Koinange Jeff. SMS number 22155. This bench is smoking. Up next, the man from Turkana, the richest county in the country, in another 10 years. Let's see what he has to say. Ikuru Alcott up next. In the meantime, don't even think of touching that remote control. This bench is about to explode. And we are back in a moment.